Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to those of you here in the United States and around the world. This is Onwards and Upwards. My name is Luciana Da Silva. I am in for Tanya Friedman today. She is actually sick with COVID-19. Our thoughts are and prayers are with her right now for a speedy recovery. But in the meantime, onwards and upwards, I've got Kay, travel nurse hacker, here with me. Hi, Kay.
Hi, Luciana. Hi, good morning, everyone. In New York, time is morning. Good evening, sa Philippines.
Yes, it's wonderful. We have nurses and an audience and friends and family from all over the world watching us here today. We are going to be talking about Maryland. It is a
Right.
merry, merry land. And we're going to be hearing all about it from Kay, who has lived there and worked there. Kay, tell us about yourself and your background. Let's start there.
Okay. Again, good morning again. I'm Kay. I've been a nurse here in the United States since I first signed my contract in 2005. I came here 2006, started New York City, and then I started travel nursing as early as the next year. During that time, I was able to manage. I was single. So I started living in New York, Boston, Connecticut, and Maryland. So each time in that area, majority are in New York City, but every 2 years we move around. Like we spent 2 years in Boston, we spent 2 years in Massachusetts, 2 years in Maryland, Connecticut, and now in New Jersey. And I'm moving back again to Maryland next to couple of weeks from now.
Really? Why are you moving back?
Job wise and kids school is better where we are compared now. Of course, is mainly because of my husband's job, and for me as a nurse, I can work everywhere.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
the one thing about there are so many things about having a nursing career, but you will definitely always have a job no matter where you go because there are always people that need your care all around the world, all around the United States. And it looks like, Kay, you have conquered the East Coast,
Northeast Coast, yes.
the
Just
Northeast Coast.
if you ask me about Northeast Coast, I can give you exactly where to eat, or which one is one way, which one is two way. Are you from New York too, right, Luciana?
Right. So,
Yes.
what is why did you come to the United States in the first place? Originally, where are you from? City and country?
I'm from Philippines, Manila. I accidentally signed an application form that says they're nursing to US. Eventually, I landed in New York. That was a New York employer that I got, which I have no idea prior to that interview. It was just all coincidence and accidents. Everything you say, happens for a reason. I came and moved to New York City as a nurse that was petitioned by my main employer to back in 2005. And then I lived there in New York as a single and free bird and then explored the entire Northeast Coast for the past 17 years.
My goodness, that is quite a long time. So you have lots and lots to share with us. So why Maryland? So I know you said about your husband's job, but what made you say, okay, let's go. I'm in.
Maryland, in a way, I'm a city girl coming from Philippines. I grew up in Manila. I'm a city girl. It has a blend of suburb kind of feel with a city, which is not too far from DC. Where we live is in Baltimore. Everybody knows Baltimore is one of the notorious cities in the whole world or the US. But there actually is not the entire Baltimore. I personally lived in Baltimore County, and that's one of the top school when it comes to elementary school. They were like number one. There is an area there which is called Towson, which is like literally like 20 minutes from the downtown. The houses there are like millions. Yes. And people are like, that's Baltimore, it's ugly. No, they have the best school. One of the best universities are there. You have your Johns Hopkins is also in Baltimore, which is a top hospital in the whole world. And
Absolutely.
you have University of Maryland, which is a top hospital. Surgeons, all surgeons go to University of Maryland to be trained for trauma because that's the number one trauma in the whole United States. Yes. And a lot of people like this is a melting pot for education. This is a melting pot for people, diversified culture, good education. The taxes are, you would be surprised, a little bit higher than where we are as in New Jersey when it comes to property taxes. but you return it in a way of education, which is also good.
You just gave us an amazing rundown right there of everything
Yeah,
that we're going to be
yeah,
talking
yeah,
about
right.
in the show, right? You're awesome. So everybody stay tuned because we are going to be talking about each of those points that she just made. And you said that you arrived in Maryland. When did you get to Maryland?
So the first time I was in Maryland, actually, my family lived there. As soon as I landed in the United States, I went to Maryland to celebrate my weekend with them already. So I landed in Fort Washington. Fort Washington is like it's the southern part of Maryland, close to DC, which is 20 minutes away from the downtown DC. And a lot of the Filipinos who migrated there back in 2000, no, sorry, not 2000, 1980s, were Filipino nurses that a ton of Filipino nurses migrated in a county called Prince George County. So in the map, you're looking at south, like all the way south. You see Bowie there, all the way down. There's a county there called Prince George's County, and that's a lot of Filipinos in there. The first Filipino nurses that got here in the 1980s. So that's a Filipino area there.
Wow. And if you can see there on that map, if I could ask my director to pull that back up. Thank you. Look at this. So Maryland is really in the very center of several different states in the United States. So it's right there in the center. You've got Washington, D.C., the Appalachian Mountains of West Virginia. If you've ever been there, they are absolutely gorgeous. It's part of the Blue Ridge Mountains, and they are blue. Then we have on the east side, Delaware, right above that, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, right north, right on top, Virginia. It's literally surrounded by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 states, just right there on the border. So much to do. I've never been there. But Kate, had you heard about Maryland before you decided to move there, or before you were, before your family moved there?
So yes, so I was still in Philippines. My family again, my relatives moved to Maryland. They like it in a way for school system. It's a very nice suburb area for kids growing up. The only no thing I know is first is very close to me. A lot of when you I live in DC, but literally live in Maryland. But because DC is like literally just across the bridge, it's easier to say I live in DC. The thing I know about Maryland is the crabs. They're very famous for blue crabs, which is very good. Tastes very tasty. So as Filipino, getting to a place that has like seafood, that's something very important to me. That's one thing. Culture.
The culture, yeah, and absolutely the seafood. They are known.
Not the Baltimore City is like downtown when you look at that map, exactly where you're. You see
Right where
that
the pin
pin in
is.
there? The pin it says 1,000. I live there, exactly there where the pin is 1,000. So that's the north part of the Baltimore County, and it has one of the best school systems as well in that area. Good for family, good education, good work choices that I have. There's so many hospitals right south of it. It's very accessible to DC. It's accessible to your nature sports. So it brought us a lot of everything. So I researched before I went there because we were thinking going down to closer to DC, but actually this place was our better pick at that time.
What are the fun things to do there? Everybody wants to have fun.
Yes.
What do you do for fun?
For fun, so I'm very outdoor person. I'm very outdoor. If you like nature and sports, yes, we very close to all the rivers. Have you seen the map? It's you have so much rivers, lakes, and again, there is DC not too far from you. Downtown Baltimore will have like your theaters as well. So Lea Salonga was there when we went there, of course. Lea Salonga is a very famous Filipino theater and actress and artist. So there's a huge amount of Filipino community culture in that area that really brought me there because when you're bringing a family, a good support system is very important.
Mm-hmm.
Culture is very important to us as Filipinos. So that's one thing why I chose that. Why we didn't go to Delaware? Why didn't we go to Pennsylvania? Because the culture is something that's very important to us. And having that people in there in case of emergency, which is very important. And also, you do outdoor. There's a lot of things you can do in Maryland. camping, outdoor kayaking, river rafting. We're not too far from Delaware, Poconos, which is also very notorious for very, very good outdoor activities. So you have the best of everything when it comes to city activities. There's downtown Baltimore. What do you call this one? Baltimore downtown has the marinas as well. So you have your boardwalk as well in there, and you get the food, you get the downtown, you get the city vibe, you have your nature. So you have the best as well.
And take a look at all of these photos here on the screen right now. You have National Harbor, Western Maryland. Of course, we have Baltimore, Ocean City, Chesapeake Bay, very, very famous as well. And you can see that, and we're speaking about that there is a very great Filipino population there, but it is an international city. There are people there from Brazil, from Europe, from Japan, I could keep going down the list. I could name 300 countries right now that are all there in this space. And I'm seeing here from the chat, by the way, I wanted to say hello to everybody in the chat. We have so many comments here already. Keep your questions coming. I'm still learning from Tanya on the double tasking of taking the comments and speaking to UK. So bear with me, our sweet audience. We have Romel de Vera from the Philippines here. We also have hello from Fort Myers, Aldrin. Hello, Aldrin. It says Fort Myers is the best place. We'll be talking about Florida another week. So definitely stay tuned for that on Onwards and Upwards. Also, we have a nurse, Petrina from Ghana. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Oh, and we have someone from Waldorf, Maryland. Welcome to you too. I am being asked right now I cannot see the user's name, but it says, is it safe there? Do you feel safe?
I feel not safe on some areas. That is correct. As in any part of the world or any part of the US, there's always one area that's notorious for some places that you don't want to go. It's like compared to Philippines. Philippines, we all know, is a developing country, but there are places that you're gonna be secured. So there is a difference between secured and safe. So when you're safe, you don't need police officers around. That's how I do it. Like New York City, Harlem. Is it safe? Is it secured? Everybody knows Harlem. It's one of the secured places on earth. I'd rather walk in Harlem than walk on certain street in Baltimore that is notorious there. Something like that. So there's always some areas like couple of walks will be like notorious, and then couple of walks will be like, hey, this is good area. So there are places that are very high secured and they're very safe, like literally safe, that even though without security, you'll be fine walking. So it's technically everywhere. So where I was, so you gotta be very specific with researching where you live. So where I was, everybody said Baltimore is very ugly, very dangerous. But then I know, right? And they just like one of the most.
I'm gonna move there. They're like, it's ugly. So I don't think it's ugly at all.
No, and I showed them, look at the school. This is the number one school. Is that there in Towson? The community built their own school and it was fully funded because they said the kids here actually were performing great. So we're gonna sponsor this school. So they built a new school in there, and it's still part of Baltimore County. If you look at the houses there, when we look at houses 6 years ago, 5 years ago, the houses were reasonable. Were reasonable, but on a higher scale. So now a rental will cost us $3,700 for a family, a small rent.
Super posh area of Baltimore.
Exactly. So there are good areas and there are bad areas. It's not the entire place is bad. So if it's secured, is it safe? I would say it's secured, yes. But is it safe? Well,
it all depends on
where you walk.
And in a big city, all big cities in the world have those few streets that you have to, as my mom always said, keep an eye, watch. She's always put.
Exactly.
You have to watch, and it's all over the world. That's like that. And
exactly.
So many states in the United States. all big cities. You have to really watch where you go, find out from locals where not to go.
Yeah.
But then there are, of course, all around the entire state of Maryland. Not everything is a big city there.
Yes.
There are
Yes.
definitely lots of suburban towns, very quaint neighborhoods, very safe areas. And I'm seeing here in the chat that it's blowing up here. We've got watching from Dubai, fist bump. UK is in the house too. Someone, Mariana from Brazil is going to Maryland. Woo! Excited.
Yes. Mariana, Rockville, that's a good area.
Yeah,
Rockville is
Rockville's
part of
good up there.
Montgomery County. That's very good. That's
See,
very good. Good.
Mariana.
Yeah.
You have to be feliz, as happy in Portuguese. Very excited, very anxious. We're happy for you. And we just want to let you know as well that Connetics USA, we have a 50 states guidebook just for you, completely free. If you take a look at your screen right now, there is a QR code. Scan that QR code on your phone. It'll take you to a page. We have a booklet. It has every single state in the country, all of the information that you need about that state, cost of living, what to do there, some great cities. So make sure, get your phones out, scan that QR code right now, and download this booklet. If you are a nurse looking to move to the United States, please make sure you go to our website and apply. Another QR code right there. If you've got your phone still in your hand, take it, scan this one too. It'll take you straight to the Connetics USA application, and you can apply to start your American dream in the United States, in Maryland, in New York, in Nevada, in California, in Florida. We have positions with major clients all over the United States that are waiting to speak with you. Back to the conversation here. I am told Liesel wants to know about Randallstown. Do you know anything about Randallstown?
Yeah, Randallstown is next to us in Towson. We're very close to it. It's a good area as well. It's a good
It is a
area.
good.
Yes, if I'm going to that place, trust me, I've researched that. I have kids and family. I make sure that this place is a very good area as well that we're moving as well. And I see there that one is coming from, I think that's Waldorf. Waldorf is a very nice suburb as well. Carroll County, that's Yano said. How about Carroll County? Carroll County is towards the northern part of Maryland as well. So you're a little bit off Baltimore, which is also a good suburb area.
And we're seeing here someone from our LinkedIn feed, someone watching us on LinkedIn is asking if there's anything related to medical laboratory technologists. The answer is yes. Yes, we do have med tech positions available as well. Our clients do, and we will connect you with those positions. Again, connectsusa.com/application. Back to the conversation. Let's talk about the climate. Are you cold right now, Kay?
I'm wearing a shirt. I'm wearing a shirt. The climate is similar to, I would say, if you guys from Philippines or somewhere, I guess we're all over, right? So I'm
Everywhere.
considering. So Northeast Coast has 4 seasons, like New York, New Jersey. Maryland, they just get warmer faster than New York and New Jersey because primarily they're in the southern part of America. But you will still get the same cold if one day it will be 20, 29 degrees freezing. It can be happening here to New Jersey. It can also be happening in Boston. It's just one day that you will have more in Rochester, New York, than having that possibility in Maryland. They also get snow. The kids love snow. The kids love snow until they start cleaning the driveway. Then they
But there's nothing like a snow angel, right? You like lie on your back. If
Yep.
you at home ever made a snow angel, you lie on your back and you go with your legs and your arms. And you're so cold, but it's so good.
Yes, we get that winter too as well. We get the fall, which is just recently, a couple of weeks ago, it was Cherry Blossoms Festival, which is very pretty. So we were there in Maryland, DC area doing that. So it's very fun. You get all those kind of weather as well, 4 seasons, like Northeast Coast. But you have more activities as well there like that. It's very well known, cherry blossoms.
Oh, absolutely. And it reminds you of Japan, because in
Yes.
Japan, they have the cherry blossom season, Hanami, where everybody goes and they sit underneath the cherry blossoms in the park all day. And it's the
Yes.
same in DC and in that area of Maryland, because you have these cherry blossoms everywhere. And you sit and it's like
Yeah.
petals of snow. It's like it's
Yes.
snowing petals. You
Yes.
sit so
Yes.
magical.
It's very wonderful to see that, it's one of once in your life opportunity. If you can see that. I can see that every year, every day. I mean, here on springtime, because we have cherry blossoms here outside too in New Jersey. But we just have tiny, but there is just like everywhere. It was just so pretty to see.
It's springtime when the flowers when the
Yeah.
flowers start blooming, right?
Yeah.
And on that climate note, does it get really hot in the summer? Because if you're in Miami, it's like you
Uh,
walk outside and your glasses
yeah.
fog up immediately in July. What's it like
Yeah.
in Maryland?
In Maryland, it doesn't get as hot as other part of like the warm, like Arizona. Miami is very hot. California, parts of them are very hot as well. In Maryland, one of the average summer season would be on around 80s and 90s as well. That's because of the breeze of the water when you're close to that. But when you're more inland towards northern part of northwestern of Maryland, then you get more lands which is dry. But when you're closer to the coastal side, then east side, then you get the breeze of the water as well. Even if you go to the water, to the beach, the beach is a little bit still cold.
That's the beauty of Maryland. If you take a look at where it's located, it is surrounded by water.
Yeah.
And I always say water is life. I've lived in a few
Yeah.
cities that did not have even a river. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm thirsty.
Yeah.
Because you
Yeah.
see that water, if it's the ocean, if it's the bay, if it's a
Mhm.
river, there's life running through there. There's an energy there. And there's a lot of things to do, lots of fun
Yeah.
things to do. So as we were seeing on your pictures, you have all sorts of water sports happening. You're at
Yes.
the beach, and then you're at the opera another night, and
Yes.
then look at that. What is that? Parasailing? No, not parasailing.
It's a
That
wind sailing.
wind sailing. That's
Yes.
what that's
Yes,
called.
and we do kayaking as well. I personally have my own kayaks here. We're not too far from what do you call this one? The Six Flags, where they have the water parks there during the summer, which is awesome for the kids as well.
Oh,
Six,
yes.
yes,
Six Flags. So Six Flags, big theme park. Okay. It's like Disney, but it's more adult in terms
yes,
of that it has really crazy roller coasters that
yes,
you might not want your
yes,
kids to be on, right? Because they go down and up and around.
yes,
And so it's this massive theme park. So it's
yes,
really, really fun to go for an afternoon. And yes, it is
yes,
absolutely kid friendly. They have lots of kid rides
yes,
there. But that's the major difference between Six Flags and let's say like a Disney
Disney, yes,
park, because it's
yes.
much more let's say like intense roller coaster rides. And so then the Six Flags, they have the theme park, but then they also have the water park. And
Yes,
the water park is slip and slide.
yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah.
going
It's
roller
closer to
coaster
home.
water.
Yeah, yeah. I like it in a way that it's closer to home. If the kids will have the same fun going to Legoland when they're 6 years old. It's the same fun they're gonna have when they go to Six Flags. So maybe later on, for me, I think they will appreciate more those Disney when they can remember things.
Yeah.
And it brings the same. You bring them to the playground, it's gonna be the same fun they're gonna have for the younger kids.
And they serve beer in that place too. So
Yeah, exactly. They serve beer. We get a wristband here that you're allowed to drink.
oh, see, they even keep it really organized for you so your kids don't get in trouble.
Yes.
Now, let's talk some more about the Maryland fun. I love talking about fun in different places. So, what is the shopping like? We definitely have some shoppers in the room right now and in our watching our show right now. Please name your favorite store to shop in the chat. Let's all take a look at what are your favorite stores, and we'll find out if they are in Maryland. Okay, shopping.
Shopping. We as anywhere in the country, we have outlets malls too, premium outlet stores. I love it. I like more actually shopping on Facebook Marketplace, locally. Why? Because there's a lot of students in this area. As soon as school closes down, there's a lot of universities in this area. As soon as closed down, they're selling their, computer laptop for cheap. 'Cause-
Ah.
so that's me. I like those kind of secondhand things. But I do love shopping in premium outlets as well. The only difference where I am right now, New Jersey versus Maryland. New Jersey has no sales tax when it comes to clothing. When I go to Maryland, there is. so so that's the print, but I'm not really into so much personally like shopping clothes. I'm very like minimalist person, but I do love to dress up if there's a dress up occasions as well. I got done from my New York training that it's nice to dress up, like, especially spring. It's nice, good for pictures. Shopping,
Absolutely.
shopping
They have
for.
exactly, and but like every big city in the United States. So Baltimore, you'll definitely have your Gucci,
Yes,
Versace,
yes,
Prada, Chanel. All of those stores are there. But then you have
oh yeah,
outlets, which outlets
yes,
in the United States are a really cool thing. That it's new
yes,
clothes that
yes,
are how does it's like clothes that didn't sell or they have bought too much so
yes,
that they get all these extras and they sell them for a cheaper price and
yes,
they have big shopping centers of nothing
yes,
but these
yep.
outlet stores there so you can get really good deals.
Yep, and they also have a strip which is in DC. They also have strip of shopping areas in there. And in Maryland, I like it. In Baltimore, there's like a strip there that they've developed. It's really nice. It's like I feel like I'm being in a Manhattan in a smaller version. Yes, so they developed
Nice.
that Baltimore Inner Harbor. Inner Harbor, when you go look it up, you can see there is a big mall in there in front, and then right across is your marinas, your beach area. It's really nice, the water area. So that's a very nice mix of the mall, the city, and the water. You can eat fresh seafoods right in there, freshly caught seafoods.
Now you're going to make me hungry for lunch for seafood. Let's talk a little bit more about the food. Let's get into the food. You were talking about the crabs. What kind?
Crabbing.
Yeah, so crabbing is actually it's a sport. Is that right?
Yes, people do it for a hobby. They just, go out and then they collect the crabs on this because it's everywhere. The crabs are crawling on the streets on the highway.
You
That's
see the
how
crab.
much crab is in there. Yep, and it's in the
Right. Do
season.
it
Yep.
with me, Kay. We can do this.
And
Right?
so it's a
You
very
know at
fun
home you're
thing.
doing it too.
With my kids, yeah. And a little bit margarita there.
But yeah, so do you actually go to the shore with a net and a bucket? How does that work?
So my friends do it. I personally just eat it. Because I personally said, don't warrant me on those kitchen. I can make your drinks. I had my mixology course. I took it. I have my certificate for mixology. Yeah,
Wow.
so I said, I'll do the drinks, you guys do the food. So that's the distribution of work between me and my friends.
A
Um,
nurse and a mixologist. You probably make the best kind of
I,
cocktails in both worlds.
yep, I said to them, It's party's never the same after I took that certification, that class." So it's my friends do it. Yes, so they just get bushels in there. They collect stuff through the net. They could get their fishing kayaks and or boats. So they do that, and then I just watch them and eat it too. Because with
You
the
must
kids,
be
it's so hard
fun.
to put them in the boat. When you have smaller kids, I said, we'll just watch it. But I'd love to come one day with like literally. But he showed me how to do it. So my cousins actually do also fishing. They are big in fishing, and you can do it everywhere in Maryland because it's just river, lakes, water everywhere. So as I said, if you love outdoor activities for your kids and family, this is probably one of your best spot here that you can do that.
And that's the beautiful thing too about what we were saying in the summer. It doesn't get insanely hot there.
Mm-hmm.
It's very nice. So you can go
Yeah.
out on the boat and spend all day fishing.
Yeah.
You are not going to be cold. You don't need a sweater,
No.
but you're
No.
also not going to be so hot that you're like,
Yes.
get out of here and you have a sunburn and you can't
Yeah.
walk the next day. That's
Correct. It's not as humid as Singapore. It's not as humid as Philippines. It's not as dry as Dubai because I've been to
oh,
Dubai. It's not as that. It's not as hot as like Miami. California is not as cold. California is notorious for cold summer.
it can be, especially up in northern
San Francisco,
California.
yes.
Oh yeah, it gets super windy up there too.
Yeah, that's the coldest summer I've ever had in my whole life.
I think there was a
Yeah.
famous writer that wrote that as well. That said
Yeah.
the California was the coldest summer I had ever
Summer.
been to. I
Yes.
can't remember who that was. But that is actually a quote. Let's see here. I've got for some reason I am not seeing all of the names who are writing to us right now in the comments. So I'm seeing here that. I am a single parent. I have two dependents, a 19-year-old daughter and an 8-year-old son. How many bedroom apartments should I need? And how much is the cost of living in Ellicott City? So first of all, let's talk about the dependents. So you have a 19-year-old daughter and an 8-year-old son. I'm guessing you might they might want separate rooms, or there might be a lot of arguments happening in the morning. Do you have any brothers, Kay? Did you grow up with that at all?
I grew up with my brothers. I never had my personal room until I came to the United States at age 22. That's my first ever solo room ever.
And that's the thing with the United States, is that everything we have, the houses are big, everything is
Yes.
bigger just in general. And so you do have, it's very common here that the kids have their own rooms
Yes.
and within the house. And especially if you have a 19-year-old daughter, she
Uh,
might be getting to that point that she might be taking a long time in the bathroom in the morning.
yeah.
All
Yeah.
beautiful. I would say, what would you say? 3 bedroom?
I would
Okay.
say 3 bedrooms. Yes, 3 bedrooms. One
What do
bath
you,
is should be fine.
if you guys are in the chat, if you're watching and living in the United States, let us know what you think. Does the single parent 2 bedroom or 3 bedroom? Let us know what you think, and we'll be going through the chat. And the cost of living, Ellicott City. Are you familiar with Ellicott City, Kay?
Yes, actually, that was one of our options to live there. Actually, Ellicott City is very west of Baltimore. If you see between Baltimore and Frederick, it's somewhere around that area. So we're the Towson, Baltimore, and then Frederick on the left side. That's where your Ellicott City is, which is a very good area, developing area since 2019 when we actually 2017. 2017 it was a very good place to start moving there because it's a growing community. Now you have big houses in there, which is very good. The school system is also good in that area. They have a lot of Asian food if you're from Philippines. A lot of that area is a melting pot of all the people who probably work around DC and Baltimore area, and then they finally settle down. They want to move there. We have friends there that are Indian. We have friends that are Mediterranean. We have friends that moved there who were Chinese. We have moved friends that Filipino, Korean. Name it's like a melting
It's
pot.
a
It's a very
melting.
diversified culture in there, and I like it. I love Ellicott City. If that was our option, that actually is our option also to move, but we are closer. We're trying to see closer to Baltimore because of our jobs. But if that wasn't a ride about 30 minutes from downtown Baltimore,
Oh,
30
cool.
minutes, yeah, 30 minutes drive. Yep, it's not too bad, but the traffic can kill you. It will take you probably another 50 minutes because of the traffic.
Because everyone in the United States drives a car, which is a great
Yes.
reason to segue now to transportation there. But first, I wanted to get to the second question, the cost of living. So let's say we do the 3 bedroom apartment in Ellicott City, monthly rent. What would the rent look like there? Ballpark.
You probably look in ballpark at this time of the year, like literally April 2022. You can easily look around 2,500 to 3,000 for a good living. Okay, again, that's 2,500. Now, if you go to the cheaper side, you can probably see around $2,000 in there, 2,000 to 2,500. $2,500, but definitely no less than $2,000 in my opinion. If it's a solo family, now if you're gonna rent from somebody's house and they're living, they're co-sharing, they're on the top floor and then you're on the bottom floor, then probably you can look around, you know, about close to 1,500, I would say, for that kind of setup. A comfortable living. Okay. 3 bedrooms. Yes, it's going to be tough right now. But if you asked me a year ago, it's going to be a different answer. Probably right now for a 3 bedroom, 1 bath, or 1.5 bath, or 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, you're looking around probably around close to $3,000, close to $3,000 because of
And
the
the good
market
news,
skyrocket.
right?
The,
And the good news of all of that, I know it seems really, the good news of all of that is that as a nurse in the United States, you're going to be making a good living. As I said, there's
yes.
so many nursing jobs here in the United States. Do not be scared
Yes.
by that
Yes.
number. That number can seem really
Yes.
scary. But whenever you come
Yes.
to the United States as a nurse and you start working, you will have the money to be able to afford that and
Hmm.
so many other things that you want and need, but then also your wants and your wishes in life. So
Correct.
don't let that number scare you at home,
Yes.
okay? It's
Correct.
all part of this American dream, as is your new car. So let's talk about
That's why I said to them, it doesn't matter if going there, you have free education. You have single mom, you have free education in there. The school system is very good. So you're taking it back. And a good thing, if you buy a house, that's property tax deduction also from your taxes. There you
the,
go.
the home. There it is. See, there
There
it
you
is.
go. You can get it back in a way. It looks big at front, but actually there's a lot of tax breaks as well when it comes to owning a house like that.
And we have so many Connetics nurses out there who share their stories. If you've watched previous shows of ours and different testimonials, so
Uh-huh.
many nurses come here, and within a year, 2 years, they bought a house. They bought
Yep,
a house,
it's possible.
not like a little shack.
Yeah.
They are buying like these beautiful houses with
Yes.
circular driveways. Like it's absolutely wonderful to see the success. So if you want the success as well, get out your phone. Here comes the QR code so that you can apply to Connetics USA. So make sure that you go to conneticsusa.com/application or take a quick snap of that QR code right there and it'll take you right to the application so you can start filling it out. Connetics USA, we have recruiters online right now taking your applications, and that will be reaching out to you as soon as possible so that they can start speaking to you, learning more about you, and getting your American dream in full drive. Let's put on the gas and let's move to transportation. We are there.
Transportation. Yep.
You gotta have a car. But from
Yes.
what I understand, Maryland, the DC area, there's actually a lot of public transportation there.
Correct. Correct. So if you are around close to DC, you got your bus in there that also not only in DC, it's actually a bus that goes to Maryland locally on a daily basis. So people commute left and right between DC and Maryland, and it's very doable. Now the question is, how far is the bus stop from my house? Well, depends. If your bus stop, it can be like literally right in front of you. Where we live in Towson, the bus literally stops by the gate. By the entrance of our apartment complex. So the kids and the bus stop, when you have kids, the bus also stops right in front of it. So the kids literally, and you as a parent, if you commute, it's doable. But majority of the town, I mean, the time that if you need to go like on, your daily errands, of course, it's better to use the car as well. So it's very nice to have a personal car, but if you're going in and out of the DC or just in Maryland per se, like metros, there are also buses. Like in New York, I can commute to my work with the bus as well. When you live in like downtown Baltimore or even suburb of Baltimore, it's doable by the bus. And there's also train in there as well. There's train, there you have your local train and you also have your interstate trains. Interstate trains, if you want to go to New York, you don't even have to drive. You don't even have to drive. You can use the bus. Actually, if you go to those busy DC, New York, you don't want to bring your car. Just take the bus. Basically, from my experience, who lived in Boston, who lived in New York City, who lived in DC, don't take your car in the downtown places.
But I would say, and would you agree with me though, that it's good to have a car.
Yes,
Because you will
advisable.
need it for your day to day. If you want to go city to city or, right around in the inside of the city. But all in all, and this is a good rule of thumb for any city that you move to in the United States, get a car.
Yes.
It will help your
Correct.
freedom and your life because unfortunately the rest of the world has very good public transportation systems
Yes.
and very intricate, and in the United States we have very sophisticated highway systems.
Yep.
And the one thing that we did do right, and as this train and bus system that you were saying between all these metropolitan areas, especially on the Northeast coast, right in there is what you were talking about, Kay. And what about
Yes.
driver's license? How did you go about that when you got into the
Oh,
United States?
I got to United States. I don't have any driving experience, so I actually, when I got here, that's the only time I actually got into driving school, and it's not hard to get. It's really not hard to get. And the good thing is, majority of the cars are automatic versus to where I came from. Couple of them are stick shift. So you learn stick shift. In America, it's easy because now, especially with the technology right now, the cars are equipped with a lot of safety features, backup camera, side blind spot area. It's so easy. And I said it's good to have a car in Maryland, and don't be scared if you don't know how to drive in your country before. There are school systems in here, I mean, driving schools in here, which are very efficient. They are very high standard for driving because primarily driving in America can be dangerous if you don't know and you're in the highway. That's why driving schools here are very strict and they're very good in teaching the kids or young people who doesn't know how to drive. And after that, after the school, just one school, I was confident to drive. I had no problem at all.
I absolutely love driving. You hit the highway, you put down the windows, you turn up the stereo.
Yeah.
I like to sing. You might be able to hear
Yeah.
me. I'm in California, all the way in Maryland, singing in my car.
Yeah.
And you'll have to go like this. I'm so sorry. But I actually have Amanda here who is asking if we can please have the QR code for the places in the United States. So our 50 states booklet, so that you can learn more about California. You can learn more about Maryland. Here you go. Amanda, QR code. Your wish is granted. Please take a moment, scan this QR code, and it'll take you right to our website so that you can get your 50 states guidebook. And while you're there, make sure you apply to ConneticsUSA.com. There is a button up at the top of this 50 states guidebook page that you can just click, and it says application. And then we can get on with changing your life, moving forward into the direction of the United States of America. Now, when you arrived in Maryland, did you search for a support network?
First, say that again.
Did you search for a support
Oh,
network?
so for the
You know, when we
yes,
first get to a new place,
yeah.
it's hard to do it alone.
Yes, exactly. The place when I started there, the people, the culture of my employees, they're very, very helpful. I'm comparing this from where I came, also New York. It's tougher to have to penetrate a support network in New York City. It's easier in Maryland. People are
Right.
very warmer. They're very down to earth. People are very helpful. It's just because it's the less hassle and bustle. People there just chill. They're very relaxed. They're not very stressed. That's one of the reasons why we chose Maryland, for a long-term decision for us, because the culture, the support system is important, as I said, and it's not hard to penetrate to have a support system. People are very warm, very helpful. When they know that you're there, you're a new person, they're going to be very helpful for you. I'm a traveling nurse. I am always new to different hospitals. I'm always new to the different places, and I can tell you, this is one place that I felt like I felt home in a couple of a month. The people there
Wow.
are very nice and very helpful. They will treat you like a family.
Well, how about the treatment of your family, your spouse and your kids? How did they did they settle in? What kind of support did they have whenever they arrived?
So my husband is not Filipino, so he's South American. So
Oh,
he yeah, so he actually enjoyed it more too because now he get oriented or he met a lot of friends that are non of his culture. Bolivians are very hard to find in America. so so I'm telling you that he told me I was lucky to find him.
you're
and
like,
I
you're the
was
lucky one, man.
so so this is something that it was easy for him to take because the support system, again, the people are warmer and welcoming to him. And I'm talking not because he found Bolivians. No, majority of his friends are there were very welcoming. One of his bosses were like Indian, Mediterranean, as I said, very non-Filipino, non-Bolivian, but they're very welcoming to us as well.
And what type of community support systems are there? Are there any sort of organizations that you think that nurses who are moving to Maryland should reach out to in order to have that support?
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of events. When you talk about events, cultural events, there's a lot in, especially in DC. So you will have all those your Latino festivals. You will have your Filipino festival. You have your Japanese celebrations in there. So you will always find like those communities in there. Before it was harder to find those support system, but now because of Facebook and social media, if you go to Facebook and you join like a certain group that says there, for me, Filipinos in Maryland, there's actually a Facebook group there. Let's say volleyball group in Maryland, which I also joined before in New York. So I joined a social group of New York volleyball players. So then I just joined in. So I went in there and I meet a lot of people who play volleyball. So I've never met them in my whole life, but we all have one in common, which is volleyball, and
And
eventually became friends with it. So there's a lot of which is a good thing now. It's not hard to adjust compared to 10 years ago, when there was no Facebook yet, there was no way of social media. Now use those tools. Those are very helpful tools. Find something that you like, and then you find that in that Maryland, let's say Maryland hobby for cars, something like that. So
mm-hmm.
so there's a lot of social connection that you can make in there outside your own personal network. You can use that tool, and if you have something very common, you can. It's easy to help to find them.
And also, you were talking about volleyball. There are a
Yeah.
lot of pro sports teams
Yes.
in Maryland as well. So you have the Baltimore Ravens. They actually
Yes.
won the Super Bowl a few
Before.
years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
actually won the Super Bowl. And so there are lots of pro sports events that you can go to. And there's nothing more, I think, that brings people together. And it's so interesting and so wonderful for sports. You
Yes.
know, like you were saying with volleyball, we don't know anything about each other, but high five, we're playing
Yes.
volleyball and we're on the same team. And,
Yep.
that's a great way to also meet other people. And there are people from all over the world. I'm looking over here at the chat. We have Marie, who is watching us on LinkedIn. For me to
Mhm.
get a job in the USA, is it mandatory to have the NCLEX and the IELTS? So, Marie, here's how it works. You do need to have your NCLEX exam passed in order to be placed with a hospital, with a hospital that Connetics matches you with. The IELTS exam you will also need to pass. However, you can get your NCLEX, get placed, and then while you're in the process of the immigration process, which the immigration process, depending on where you're from and the COVID status, I'm not a lawyer, so I cannot give you a time frame. But when you are in that process there, you take the IELTS, you pass the IELTS. Okay, so yes, in order to work, you need to have your NCLEX and your IELTS. But in order to be placed, you need to have your NCLEX first. Another good point to make, though, Connetics USA, we have started an Nclex Scholarship. What that means is that Connetics pays, and it's not a small payment. We pay it forward and pay for the nurse to take an Nclex course, an Nclex study course. It's a fantastic course, super high pass rate on it. So then Connetics will pay for you to take this course. You will pass the course, and then you can be placed with a hospital that Connetics works with. It is direct hire. So Connetics is not hiring you, the hospital is hiring you, which means you get a green card. It means that you get the same benefits as an American nurse. And even more importantly, it means that your journey to the United States is beginning. So conneticsUSA.com/application. And when you do it, we're going to be doing the crab because you're going to be heading to Maryland again.
You're going to see me there. You can find me there. Yeah. Look for me there. I'll be everywhere there. I've worked in a couple of hospitals there.
Exactly. Now we have Garcia, who is also watching us on LinkedIn. Wow, our LinkedIn audience is really growing. I have 3-year diploma in nursing and also a registered nurse in Dubai with 2 years of experience. How can I apply to work in the U.S.? I'm going to say it again, conneticsUSA.com/application. We need to make that into a song. And that is how, right there, it's at the bottom of the screen. Take your phone out, take a click, and make sure to go and apply, because right now we do have open positions in wonderful places like Maryland and elsewhere in the United States. And Kay has been to all of it and in all of it. So she can tell you about it. For sure. Now, I want to go back into the Maryland culture again. I want to talk about the ethnic foods there. So we talked about the local foods. We talked about the crab and the fish. And, of course, if you're at a Ravens game, you have to have a hot dog. But what about the ethnic foods? Foods from around the world there?
As for me, I love a place that will deliver me all the kinds of food, because I'm the person who'll be like, hey, I'm waking up one day, I want to order Vietnamese food. Hey, you know what? Next week, I want the Indian food. Hey, next week, let's say Thursday, I want, let's say, Brazilian food, rodízios. I like those, skewers on the live grill, and they're serving right in front of you. I love those. Yeah, so I love exploring different kinds of food. My husband's South American, so we love Peruvian food, Bolivian food, South American culture. We have it there as well. Name it, we have it. so it's not something that you're craving for. I know we don't have it. I mean, New York has the most, but Baltimore has it best too. And the good thing is cheaper than New York City because they can deliver it. You can deliver it, since it is a school kind of university area. That portion of Maryland are very good in university, well known for students, not only high school students, but you're talking about university, college, as well as residents, because now you have Johns Hopkins, Baltimore University of Maryland, which are very, very good for medical program in the whole United States. So you have tons and thousands of residents there. And of course, when you're a student, when you're a resident, you're not going to be spending $50 for food. You can buy it for 20 or less than that, and it's still good quality. I am telling you, Luciana, because one thing I like about Maryland, you can buy it cheaper and with quality.
Maryland has much less of a cost of living. If you look at Maryland versus, my gosh, so many other states, that the cost of living there is very, very affordable. So it may seem like we were talking about earlier that rent might seem high, but everything that you can do, even the gas, is much
cheaper. Yes.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. And the housing, when you go towards, I would say, more inner, like we were looking one point Hagerstown area, which is part of Maryland, more inner, western, northern. Oh, you can get as easy as $1,500 for rent there. Less than that. So there's areas there, and it's not a bad area. It's a developing area, which is, I think, for me as an investor, hey, go there. Your house can be times 2 already in 10 years from now. I'm telling you, that is a growing. When I go to places, I look at the potential, and I think potential in Maryland, primarily because a lot of people are moving out from the metro DC. Working from home. And now if you go in there, you buy your property, I'm pretty sure that's going to appreciate in a couple more years. It's a big potential there.
You mentioned all the different hospitals and universities. It
Mhm.
is a very educated
Yes.
area of the United States. Everybody there is very educated. I
Yes.
want to know the differences between, let's say, a hospital in the Philippines versus working in a hospital in Maryland. Let's say top three major differences clinically.
Clinically, not pay, right?
Clinically.
Well, I was earning fifty cents per hour back in the Philippines. Let me get it that straight. I earn 50 cents per hour. That's my
Oh my
salary in
gosh, welcome
Philippines.
to America.
Well, there you go. When I got here, I got $30 an hour. That's a big jump for me. Big life changing scenario for me. They
It
say,
just goes up.
America has higher cost of living. That is true. America has higher cost of living, but when you compare high cost of living percentage versus the salary, it is exponentially way more here than in the Philippines. Absolutely. But anyway, clinical wise, you have so many again because a lot of here at University Hospital, you have Children's Hospital not far from Maryland, which is just by the DC area and Maryland border. You have your big university hospitals around. You have your community hospitals as well. You can get a lot of experience from these hospitals, and the thing is a lot of them are funded also. So when you're funded, you bring their newest technology in there. you know the hospital will bring in the best experience as a nurse because it they have the best technology. The first time I saw a robotic for bone surgery was in there.
There's a
Yeah.
robot there doing the.
Yeah, before robot was just for abdomen surgery. Now you're talking about implanting your joints, your bones, your knees. So it's a robot orthopedic. Yeah. So we have those. The first time I saw it was wow. I saw it there in Maryland.
My goodness. Yeah.
Yes.
And as you said, John Hopkins University is wonderful. We actually also have, there's another really, really great healthcare system there called Adventist that are one of the
Hmm.
Connetics clients. They're also
Hmm.
fantastic, latest technology there as well. And it seems from what I've noticed, I am not a nurse or a doctor. And but what I will say that I have heard a lot of feedback from our nurses are the community within the hospitals and that teamwork, that
Yes.
sensation of teamwork. No matter where you're from, you could be in a room and everyone has an accent from a
Yes.
different area of the world. But do you
Yes.
feel that cohesion going on in within the hospital there? Does all of that kind of leave it at the door mentality? Here we are.
No, actually, well, that's why when I started traveling there as a nurse initially, everybody was so warm. May it be, my color, maybe a different color, they are just treating me just equally the same. There was no like, oh, you're a different person, you're different culture, we treat you different. No, there's no such thing as that. That's why I enjoyed it. That's one of my favorite travel contract ever in Maryland as well. And the kids enjoyed it too. The kids loved the neighbors. They were very warm and nice to us. Even up to now that we're not there for 2 years, 3 years now, my kids are still communicating to their friends back there. They're still talking almost every day, still almost every day. One of my son's best friend is still there. They would communicate and they would exchange before letters as well. And then every time we go there, we still visit them. The culture, the people are very warm. I'm comparing this to, of course, well, I came from New York City. It was like when people are nice to you in New York, it's like, what do you want?
What's wrong with you?
What you want from me, and not only like me coming, as an immigrant coming to New York. I think even local Americans would come to New York City and be like, these are kind of like, oh, what's wrong with him? There's a little tension before you penetrate, but when you penetrate New York City culture, you would feel that they're like a family to you, but it takes a while. But in Maryland, they gave it just like that. They're just nice to you. I'm like, what does she want? Why is she nice to me? No, and then they would even bring like, oh yeah, I cooked some food. Do you want some? And they would share it to me as well. Like, are you sure? And like, hey, there's a birthday coming in. I'm a traveler. I'm a traveler. In my mind, I'm a traveler inviting me. Oh yeah, yeah, come and bring your family, bring your kids like that. They were just so warm and nice. That's why when my husband and I were deciding where we're going to move in a long term, then we finally decided Maryland was a good choice for us as well.
I absolutely love hearing your stories. I'm loving seeing all of these questions here in the chat. I wish that we could get to more of them because we are running out of time now. But I
Yeah.
do want to just make one more point about Maryland is that people there are very warm. Like you said, people there are very helpful in helping you get your life together. That's that type of support. And then supporting you throughout that
Yes.
time as you
Yep.
are living there and hopefully staying there permanently and for a long time and making it into DC and you know walking around the mall in DC where you
Yes.
see all of you know the monuments and the White House and everything else, and then you can just skip on over to Delaware and take a look at the Atlantic Ocean, and then why not go back west and take a hike in the Appalachian Mountains. The United States has everything to offer. Kay, if you could offer one piece of advice to our viewers all over the world, what would it be? And it doesn't have to be about Maryland. It could
It
just be
doesn't have to.
immigrating to the United States. What is one piece of advice?
The one piece of advice is once opportunity comes, it will never come back. So your opportunity is there, grab it. That's what I'm saying right now. Go call her. I'm not getting commission from her, but I'm just saying if opportunity comes in, it doesn't matter how skillful you are, but if you don't have opportunity, you will never be successful. If now you combine it with your skills and your talent and now combine with your opportunity, you can be whoever you want to be.
I got chills as you were saying that at home. If you could see my arm, there are chills on it. It's absolutely beautiful. And you are so right and so true. And I want to thank you so much for joining us today. Okay, it's the second time I've had the pleasure of interviewing you. So I'm really, really glad that you joined us. And again, to those of you at home, I'm going to show those QR codes another time on our screen. Our wonderful director, her name is Milanos, by the way. She actually is the one that makes this whole magic happen of this Onwards and Upwards show. So first we had the 50 States Guidebook so that you can learn about the state of Maryland and all the other states in the United States. Scan that QR code right there. It's a very, very cool booklet. Get the digital version, print it out. It's absolutely fantastic. We'll also let you know, of course, ConneticsUSA.com/application. Just like Kay said, take opportunity. This QR code right here, it says opportunity. I know you can't, it doesn't seem like it, but it's written. Make sure that you scan that code and take this opportunity. We have Pachu in the chat right now that says opportunity never comes again. So make sure you're scanning this QR code, fill out the application. One of our recruiters will be getting in touch with you. We also have several other initiatives that we are doing here at Connecticut. This graphic might look really familiar because we really love to let you know that we do have a free IELTS scholarship, which the two scholarships, the IELTS scholarship and the Nclex Scholarship, are both to where Connetics USA pays for you to take a course in order to pass your IELTS and exams. No cost to you. Connetics Care package that we pay for your success. There's also a $1,000 referral fee going on right now. So if you know a nurse with Nclex, you can refer them to Connetics USA. We'll give you $1,000. That's ConneticsUSA.com/referral. Very easy to remember. If you go to our main website, you'll see it up at the top. Refer a nurse, refer your friend, let them get started on their American dream. And we just extended it to May the 31st. So you have a little bit of time, but don't waste the time. Make sure to get your friends into the United States and introducing them to Connetics USA. We also have our podcast, Nursing in America. That's actually where you may recognize me. I've been guest hosting the podcast, Nursing in America, for the last few weeks. We're about to start a new season, so please tune in for that. As we said before, we are direct hire. We have a nurse aid program that we are now beginning. If you are a nurse aide, you can apply to Connetics USA. Onwards and Upwards show, this is where we are right now. Every Friday, same time, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's in the West Coast in California, 10 a.m. on the East Coast in New York and Baltimore, Maryland, every week. So make sure you turn in. And we also have our allied needs. So people were asking earlier if we medical lab technologists, technicians, respiratory therapists, surgical techs, we are absolutely matching these professionals with wonderful, top quality healthcare systems in the United States. One more time again, I am so happy that you joined us, Kay. I'm so happy to all of you at home who also took the time to join us on our show. We will see you back here again next week. All love and thanks, and the best of thoughts go to Tanya, who again is sick right now. She is struggling with COVID. Our thoughts and prayers are out to her. And in the meantime, onwards and upwards, everybody. Thank you for joining. See you next week. Thank you, Kay.
Bye.